Okay. Hello. Let me stop playing. Okay. Welcome to Ghetto podcast. So I want to insert a trigger warning. Today we will be discussing sensitive topics. If you read the title, then I'm about to be telling some of my business. So trigger warning. Anywho, so I was in an abusive relationship and did not know it. Oh, gee. Like, literally, when I found that, I was like, why ain't nobody told me? I was in an abusive relationship and I did not know it. I don't know if I didn't know it or if I didn't want to say it, or if I didn't want to believe it, own it, whatever the case may be. For me, I did a lot of minimizing. Like, in my head, I'm like, this ain't no Ike and Cena, so this isn't abuse. This isn't domestic violence. I'm not sure if we were using that language back then. But anywho, so this is my background. So, like, small backstory. I'm gonna try not to do too much. So I got married when I was 18. Like, I was a baby. I got married when I was 18. This literally was my first relationship. I got married when I was 18. October, November, December, January, February, March. Like, I got married 6 months after my 18th birthday. The person I married was actually 4.5 years older than me. So, like, and he was in his early 20s. And these last 2 points I really want to highlight. I had no clue how to navigate a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, a healthy partnership. I had no clue what that entailed. I had never seen that. I had never experienced that. I never saw it. So I don't want to say I was doomed from the start, but yeah, like, I was not equipped with the tools to be that young. I'll just say to be that young and in a serious relationship, because me being married is just absolute nonsense. But trying to navigate and figure out how to be in a healthy relationship was just something foreign to me. And then lastly, I grew up witnessing domestic violence. I grew up in a household where I witnessed domestic violence. So I don't want to say it was normal, because it's not normal and it's not okay, but it was something I knew. It was something I knew to be real, and I don't know, but it was something that I was accustomed to. So, the red flags. Okay, the red flags. So I met him when I was 16. We didn't start to date. We didn't start to date until I was 17. Like, we didn't go on our first date until I was 17. And like, literally, I met him like maybe a couple months or a couple weeks or something like that. Like, it was a short amount of time that I met him before I turned 17. So I met him when I was 16. We started talking, texting, dating when I was 17. And so when I was 17, he was... he was 20. He was 20 because I remember after... Was he 20? 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, he was 20 because I remember... Shit. He was like 20 or 21, something like that. I don't know. So these are the red flags. Okay, red flag number 1, which to me at the time wasn't a red flag. He would love bomb me. He bought me some shoes like a few days after meeting him. So he would buy me gifts. He would spoil me. literally, it was like a few weeks after we had started dealing with each other. He was like, I think I'm starting to fall in love with you. Like, he used to hit me with that. I think I'm falling in love with you. I ain't never felt this way before. I never felt like this. I don't know what to do with these emotions. Like, you're so special. You're so special. Like, I ain't nobody never made me feel like this. So he would love about me. So I used to be, like I said, I was 17. So I was like a sophomore. Yeah, I think I was a sophomore in high school when we met. So I was a sophomore in high school when we met. And so it got to the point where I was ditching school sometimes to just spend the day with him, because I'm 17 and he's like 20 or 21. So I'm ditching school sometimes to kick it with him, spend time with him. And like, we was doing that for a minute. But at some point, my woman's intuition, my teenage girl's intuition, whatever you want to call it, but that gut feeling that something was not right. And like, a few signs were there, but then I was like, he was he was spending all day with me, of course, because I had a curfew. I had to be home by midnight. So he was, I think before I turned 18 though, it was like 11 o'clock or 11:30 or something like that. So I had to be in the crib heck early. So I'm like, literally, he's spending all his time with me. He's spending all his free time with me. And I was just really naive. Really, like, I was really, like I said, this was my first relationship. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what that entailed. I was just clueless and naive. So I had this nagging gut feeling that something wasn't right, and I just didn't even know what to do with that. Like, I knew what it was. I'm like, he's cheating on me. But it's just like, okay, what do you do with that? Because I was so young, so I didn't know. And that wasn't the first time. Like, I had a boyfriend in like 7th or 8th grade and I had that same woman's intuition, and I ended up having a dream that he was gonna cheat on, that he was cheating on me, or that he was gonna break up with me or something like that. And like, the next day I went to school and he broke up with me. So I had navigated, I'm not gonna say navigated, but I had felt that feeling before, and it had been true. The only difference was I was in like 7th or 8th grade. So eventually I found out that I'm the other girl, because he had, like, once I found out about the other person, she was already pregnant. So I found out he had a baby mama. Mind you, I'm 17. So I'm 17. He had to have been like 21 or 22. So, 18, 19, 20, 21. So he's 21. Yeah, so he turned 21. Child, I gotta do the math later. But so he's 21, I'm 17, and she's in her early 20s as well. So she's somewhere like 22, 23 or something like that. Okay, this, I want y'all to pay attention to this. Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell y'all. I will say this, and I will continue to say this on why, when you find out your man cheating, your boyfriend cheating, your boo, whoever it is, if you find out that that person is cheating, the last thing you need to do is go back and forth with the other woman, to be disrespectful, name calling, like automatically start downing the other woman on how you better and how could he do this, that, and the other. And to like do the arguing back and forth with another woman. Because, hear me when I say this, I put this in capital, bold, and italic. You don't know what he telling the other person. You do not know what he is telling that other person. Like, as soon, I see this all the time too. Like, as soon as you find out your man cheating, your boo cheating, she all type of bald-headed, nappy-headed, ghetto, nasty, raggedy, okay, don't none of that matter, because he was laid up with her. He love her. That's his boo thing. That's his boo-boo. That's his baby girl. So being rude and disrespectful to the other girl is unnecessary. Like, that's not gonna make you feel better. It's just not. It's not gonna make you feel better. It's not gonna change the fact that he gonna be right back in her face again. Like literally this man. And the funny thing, okay, so this man literally every other day he was with one. Like he'll be with her on Monday, on Tuesday he with me, Wednesday he back with her, Thursday he with me, Friday he back with her. Like I'm talking about literally he would take her on a full extravaganza date, go just on this beautiful date, ignore my calls the whole time that they together, and then turn around and the very next day would switch it in, would spend his whole day with me and spoiling me and doing this, that, and the other for me, and ignoring her. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at her blowing the phone up, and I'm just like, I don't remember what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying. So back to the love bombing thing. Before I found out about her, like for Valentine's Day, he had bought me this huge, like y'all know them super big, like a human size, like 3 foot, 4 foot tall bears and teddy bears and stuffed animals. He had bought me one of them, and he had bought me like this huge heart shape. How you do a heart? A huge heart shaped. How do you do a heart? He had bought me this huge heart shaped box of chocolates. So he had bought me. So I'm like, oh, I got a man. I got a boyfriend. Girl, no. Okay. Let me get to the point. So I would confront him. Okay, so this is the thing, like I said, he would be like back and forth, like day to day. One day he with me, next day he with her, and it was just all the days. And then come to find out later on, it was some other women in the mix, and I'm just like, when did you have time for all this, sir? Anyway. Then it got to the point where like me and him would be kicking it, and she'll pull up. She would pull up on us, and he'd be like, get in the car, whatever. And it was one time I know he had pulled up in front of my apartment complex, and I go downstairs, and she in the car, and I'm just like, what is this? And of course he just sitting there looking stupid. Hey boo, hey. So now at this time I'm still under the age of 18, so I'm 17. But then it got to the point where she was saying like he be putting his hands on her. So like if she would pull up, or okay, so if I saw them and then I would confront him, because I don't feel like I was really trying to argue with her, because I was just trying to figure out, bro, you was just in my face yesterday, like what is this? So I would walk up. I wasn't pulling up nowhere because I ain't had no vehicle. I would walk up and I'd just be like, what is this? He'd be looking stupid, and then I guess she would be like, I really don't know what was happening there, but she was like, he, every time things don't go his way, or he feel like I'm being disrespectful, or if I pull up on y'all, he want to put his hands on me. Mind you, I had never saw it. Like I never saw it. Like, so he'd like dip off to the corner, or he'd dip off around the corner, or somehow she was saying he'd be putting his hands on me. So I'm like, okay, well, I had never seen it though. So again, I'm young, I'm naive, I'm under the age of 18. I don't know anything about relationships. Like I didn't know. So I'm just like, I don't really like, I don't know what to think about this. I'm like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or what. So I was just believing what he was saying, because he was like, that girl crazy, she mad, I don't want to be with her no more. She got anger issues. She be hitting me. She be hitting me and then be turning around and calling the police and saying I hit her. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Because shit, at this point, my father used to put his hands on my mother. So I didn't play, like, I didn't think that was something funny or cool. But I literally never with my own 2 eyes did I see him put his hands on her. And at this point, like, I had never even really seen him flip out or get mad. Like, he was just always trying to be real calm, cool, and collected. So eventually he get locked up for this. So she called the police, and I don't know if he like kept, I can't remember if he like kept dipping off when the police would get there. Somehow he was I don't want to use no messed up terms right now, but somehow he was never caught. And then eventually the warrant was served on him. Something happened. He ended up getting locked up. So he get locked up. While he's locked up, of course, he manipulating both of us. He lying to both of us. He's telling me, and then I can't remember. I think he was telling me like, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to her, to get her to drop the charges, yada yada yada. Now, mind you, while he's locked up, this is not making sense. The timeline. I must have been a junior at this point. Yeah, I think I was a junior at this point. So, okay, I did a lot of skipping, but I don't want to, because this is about how I figured out or how I learned that I was in an abusive relationship. And these are the red flags. So I'll just tell, because it's just like a whole lot of ghetto foolishness that happened in between the mix. So once he gets locked up, he ended up getting locked up. He was locked up for like a couple months. At this point, I'm pregnant. So I'm 17 years old. I'm pregnant. I was a junior in high school. I was working a job. I was working a part-time job. I was going to night school. I was doing a lot. And then every time he was having his visitation days, I'm going to visit him. So I'm just doing a whole lot. Not taking care of myself. I'm just school, work, and him. That's it. That's all. But like I said, he was manipulating both of us. He's telling me one thing. Who knows what he was telling her? I didn't know anything about that. So when he got out of jail, I think she didn't show up to court or something like that. Somehow the charges get dropped or nothing came of the case. So when he get out, I think I was still 17. I think I was still 17. So when he gets out, well, while he was in jail, he's like, I'm gonna marry you when I get out. Yeah, all right. And I'm just like, bro, I'm really tired of this, like this back and forth, like Monday, like I only get three days of the week. Like, I don't have time for this. I'm over it. So he like, I know I messed up. He like, well, I can't be with her no more. She gonna lie and call the police and just get mad. And so he was flipping it all on her. Like, she got mad, called the police, but she the one that actually started the fight, initiated the fight, and was hitting me. I didn't do nothing. All right, cool. So I guess I believe him, because now here I am pregnant with this man baby, and he didn't wrote me a whole proposal letter or something from jail. From jail, y'all. This is a hot mess. I swear I need to write a book. All right, cool. So when he get out, we ended up getting married. At that point, I was 18. Was I 18? Yeah, okay, so I was 18. I'm gonna have to do a timeline of this, because this seems, I don't know. So now I'm 18, married, pregnant, in high school still. I think I was still doing night classes, but I think at this point I couldn't work a job no more because I kept getting sick. I had real bad morning sickness. Okay, so now I'm gonna fast forward because this is a lot. So I ended up having my baby. Once I had my baby, like literally I went to my 6-week checkup. And after my 6-week checkup, I got on a Greyhound and we moved. So we moved to a new state. When I say new state, like it was so much stuff that went on in the background that I just knew nothing about. Like I didn't know. Like that man lied and I was just believing him. Cause regardless if he lied or not, like I stayed and was believing this man. That's the tragic part. So I had a baby and we move out of state. When I say moved out of state, I'm 5 hours away from my family. I moved 5 hours away. Oh yeah, so I didn't finish high school either, like clearly. So I moved 5 hours away from my family. Mind you, I don't drive. I don't have a car. I never did the driver, what do you call it? Driver's ed. I wasn't in driver's ed because I was taking night classes to catch up on the other regular classes from me ditching so much. So while all my other friends, they in night school for their driver's license, what they call it? For driver's ed, I'm in night school taking English over and stuff. So I moved 5 hours away from my family. I don't have no driver's license. I don't know how to drive. Beyond not having a driver's license, like I didn't know how to drive. Like nobody taught me how to drive. Not my mother, not my father, and not him. Not my baby daddy. Oh well, my husband at the time. I'm reading my notes. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of just stuff that was going on. Like literally, and then like no, this point I do want to make clear, like I wasn't going to school. Like I literally was just like, we sleeping in a trap. We in a trap, and I'm in a trap just so I can be in this man's face all day. Like, sis, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, if I could do it all over again, I don't know. Hopefully I would do it over, and I could have did it over and did it the right way. But this is my life, and we here now. And all I could do is tell my story to hopefully inspire other young women to not go down that dark and depressive, sad tunnel. So literally sleeping in the trap, just sleeping in just not even the best situation. But then I ended up moving to a new state. So I'm away from my family, I'm away from my friends, I'm away from all resources. It was just a bad situation. Okay, now here we go to, this is where everything changed. Once I moved, so literally I get on a Greyhound, and if you ever used to take a Greyhound, like bro, you on the bus like heck of hours. Like I think it was like, even though it was just 5 hours away, so it was like just over 300 miles. I was on a Greyhound for like 11 hours. I think it was like a 11-hour Greyhound ride. I get there, he picks me up from the bus stop, and I think we went to his apartment. Mind you, his apartment was a 1-bedroom, small, just super depressing, like no natural light. No light, no nothing, just a super cramped space with my baby. And so we go to his apartment, well, to my new home. Let's just keep it a buck. Go to my new home, and I think we had to go and get like my personal care. I think we had to get the stuff for tacos. We had to go and get something. So we was gonna go to Family Dollar, either Family Dollar or Dollar General. It was Family Dollar. We gonna go to Family Dollar to get some stuff. And I'm talking to him, and we just like, mind you, this is straight after 11-hour trip. And I said something to him. He had this friend who was, I don't know how to say, disabled. Like he had a disabled friend. That's the nicest way I could put it. He had a disabled friend or neighbor or whoever he was, and he used to spend a lot of time with this dude. So we was talking about something. I was just like, I said, his homeboy. Now I'm like, what, you be over there messing with him or something, or effing him or something? That man looked me dead in my eyes. He said, nah, I be effing his niece. I was like, excuse me? And what? Like, I just got here. Like, this is my first day in our new life. Like, literally, this wasn't even a full hour after getting on the bus. We hadn't even been together for a full hour in our new home. What? Like a flip was switched, or a switch was flipped. Child, something happened like this. I was like, what? So he say that, and I'm just like, and it was what he said. Like I don't know how to say this. Like, I could understand him clapping back like that because I just said that you was gay and you be effing this slow dude. It was the look in his eye and the way he was looking at me when he said it. For me, that was just like very astonishing. It wasn't even so much what he said. It was the look he was giving me. Like, if looks could kill, I was just like, this is creepy. Like, I thought I was in a Lifetime movie all of a sudden. So now, okay, so the new life was literally him. He would work, and I can't even remember what his job was. I think he was like working at a construction job or something like that. I don't know, but he's working this job, and he would come home and then just be gone. Like, it'd be times where he would come home and he like, well, I'm finna go out with, y'all know how it was like in a small town, like how all the white dudes be Bobby and Michael. Like, so he be like, I'm finna go out with Mike and them. Like, I've been in a crib all day with this baby. What are you talking about? Like, come do your husband duties. Like, what are you talking about? So he literally would work all day and then come home, just to take a shower, get dressed, and leave. Which means I would be left in this small 1-bedroom apartment with no friends, just nobody to talk to, with just me and my child, which clearly wasn't healthy. So of course during this time he's cheating. Like, he's cheating. I don't know if I want to talk about that, but he was cheating. He was abusive. I'm gonna do another video on the first time he hit me. He struck me. I don't know what I could say, but like the first time he put his hands on me was just so traumatizing. So I'll talk about that in another video. But so at this point, I just kept going back and forth from my parents' home in Chicago. I don't know why I've been withholding the location. So I would go back home to Chicago to my parents' house and then come back to Kentucky to him. The thing about, like, when I say mind games, like literally I would just call my parents crying. They would drive and come get me. And like I remember one time he was just laying on the bed and I'm getting my stuff and like loading it into the car because my parents here. And he was like, all right, I love you. What? Like, bro, get out of my face. I don't stop. Just stop the madness. Stop the head games. Like, it was a whole lot of head games. Now, this is the thing. So when I would go home, mind you, I have a baby. Like, I had a baby super young. Eventually I ended up getting my GED, but I had a baby super young. I don't have an education. Like, I was just really hard on myself. Like, mentally I wasn't in a good space at all. I was not in a good space mentally. Then to have your husband continuously cheating on you. When he wasn't cheating on me, he was telling me like how all the other women that he was cheating on me with was so much better, and they do this and you don't do this. You act like you can't do this. Like, bro, I'm depressed. 1, 2, I'm in the house all day by myself. Like, what do you expect right now? Or like, he just used to always compare me. Then it's one thing for somebody to compare you to like they favorite celebrity or a fictional character on their favorite TV show. Like, he literally was comparing me to the women he was cheating on me with. Excuse me. And so that he was always telling me that I had a nasty attitude, didn't nobody like me, I was rude, nobody would ever want to be with me, like just all type of stuff. So I would be like, I don't have time for this, and I would leave and go back to be with my parents. And pretty much it was the same thing. Like, my father, not my mother, but my father would be like, you ain't got no job and you ain't doing nothing with your life. Don't no man want to be with a woman like that. So in me, like in my mind, I was internalizing that because I was like, well, maybe that's why my husband cheated on me, because I can't. I mean, but at the time, like in Kentucky, I couldn't work a job. Like, we couldn't get childcare assistance. We couldn't get a lot because we was married. Like, he used to be mad at me because I couldn't get government assistance. Like, he used to blame everything on me. Everything was always my fault. Like, I had went and applied for government assistance one time, and he was so mad because he was like, well, what you tell him you was married for? And I'm like, because it's easy to find out. Like, why would I lie to these people? And if that's the case, why you didn't prep me for that? To go down there and have a story. Like, you sending me off on this blank mission knowing I'm young as heck. I ain't never had to do nothing like this before. Like, so sorry, I didn't know how to scam. Like, he used to be mad at me because we couldn't get government assistance, which I think is messed up because I was married. So everything was just always my fault. Everything was my fault, and I was just a piece of crap. Now, when I would go to my parents' house, it was the same. Like, my dad would just be like, I'm a felon and I can get a job. You can't get no job. You ain't trying to do nothing. And it was just a lot. So mentally, I was not in a good place at all. And I really just started wearing on my self-esteem because I really just thought I was nothing. I thought, and like, he would say stuff like, ain't nobody gonna want you. Don't nobody want to be with you. And he'd be like, well, for the Cause that's good, but that's about all. That's about all they gonna do is and go. Cause you ain't got nothing else. And I'm just like, okay. Then I have my own father be like, I concur. Like, wait, is concur the word I'm looking for? He be like, I agree. I second that. Like, absolutely. So I really had no self-value. I had no value for myself. But then eventually it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I can either be at my parents' house and be told I'm nothing, or go home and have a little drinky drink and smoky smoke and deal with it that way. At least I can be numb to this foolishness. So I chose to stay, because I'm like, it don't matter where I'm going, like, I'm worthless. And then also, so like, once my son was getting older, I would be able to work. He kept sabotaging my jobs. He had all control of the money. Again, I still was not driving. I don't know when I started driving. Eventually I had to teach myself how to drive. If he wasn't manipulating me by telling me, like, literally by beating me down emotionally, and mentally, he would manipulate me with the kids. So like, I didn't have a social life at this point. I had never even gone out to a club. Like, the whole time I had never been to a club or nothing. Like, I literally was just in the crib. And then, like, I don't know, child, he used to beat me down. And then my thing was, like, he used to manipulate me to where I couldn't work a job. He would just do all this crazy weird stuff that I couldn't work a job, but then tell me, I don't want to be with a woman I gotta take care of. Well, how do you expect me to obtain money if you keep, every time I get a job, you doing something to snatch it away? You're doing something so I don't have the transportation to get there. Like, that was one part I never understood. Then another thing, like, he used to always hang this over my head. Like, because the depression thing was real. And I don't even like using that word, but the sadness, the sorrow, just the darkness, the dark cloud that was over me and my psyche was for real. He used to always be like, well, my mama raised 4 kids by herself. I am married to you, sir. Like, why do you even always say this? I'm not understanding. So that was always like a big argument we would have. And then, like, I had to do like a lot of things. We were raised differently. But if I didn't do something the way his mother did, then I was stupid, or that's crazy. Why you don't do it like that? Well, why can't you just do it like that? Because that's how my mom do it. Or that's how I grew up having it done. So you want me to change, but you can't change? So again, I was young and clueless. I had no idea of the strength, or I had no clue that I even had strength. I had no clue or no idea about the strength, my own strength, the strength that I harnessed, or the things that I could accomplish. Like I said, I was really sad and depressed and burdened at the time. So I don't really feel like anybody was pouring into me, which no, it was nobody's responsibility. But like, I'll just say, like, I never even knew I was pretty until I already had 3 kids. Like, I was like almost 30. I'm 33 right now. I think I was like 26 or 27 when I actually was like, I'm as pretty. Like, what? I was like 27 or 28 when I realized I had a pretty smile. Like, I just didn't, absolutely no self-worth. There was no self-worth. Like, I remember I would meet guys, and then I stayed loyal. Like, this man cheating on me. He gave me an STD. Like, you're just continuously cheating on me, and I'm continuously sitting in the house with this baby being loyal to you. And for what? So, like, I would meet his friends and stuff, and they would try to holler at me. And the whole time I thought that they were trying to holler at me because they just want to, like, because that's just what men do. Because they just want to be trifling and I don't know. So I never knew this whole time that I was fine. And I'm like fishing for compliments. Like, I really never knew I was fine as F. Like, I just did not know. Okay, so to get to the story, we 35 minutes in. Maybe I need to do a part 2. I don't know, because you could pause it and come back later if that need be, because so like I really just was like so all I ever had growing up, just continuously, the only thing that I was continuously having was tough love, people being real aggressive with me because they felt like I could handle it. And then, like, I was always being told I needed to do better, but I just had no clue, I guess, how to obtain that. I don't know, which really, that wasn't nobody else's fault or job, I guess. I don't know, but how was I supposed to know that I'm fine and I could be anything in the world? I ain't know this. Okay, so to the point of how I had this revelation. Somehow, so between me continuously going back to this state, to that state, to this state, I was like, you know what, I really do, I just want to get on my feet. So I went to Chicago, and my ex had custody. I'm saying had custody, but we were still married. But he had me sign something saying that he had custody of my son or something like that. Again, I was young and slow and just had no idea. So I signed something saying that my son was in his custody, and I had my daughter. He did that so that he can apply for Section 8 and other. Well, I'm not going to say that, but while he had that power, that's what he did. He applied for Section 8. So somehow he gets approved for Section 8. And again, I ended up going back again. If I had a tally of how many times I went from Kentucky to Chicago, I'd probably be rich right now. So he gets so y'all know Section 8 or public housing or whatever, HUD, whoever these agencies are, it takes years to get approved. So at the point that I had went back home and he got approved for Section 8, it had been years prior that he had applied and that he had this paperwork saying that he had custody of my son, even though we was married. So he gets approved for Section 8. And when I say he gets approved, like, he's the head of household on the thing. And he just had me and the kids listed as occupants or whatever. All right, cool. So we are about to move. Finding a place to move was already, because I already knew where I wanted to move. They had like a lot of townhouses. They had like a lot of nice places to go and live. We couldn't get approved for any of them. And I think it was because I didn't have credit. Of course, that was my fault too, because I didn't have credit, and we got to do this background checking, and that was my fault too. All right, cool. So we finally get approved from this ghetto project looking apartment complex. And I was just like, I do not want to live here. But it was a step up from where we was living in this small 1-bedroom apartment with 2 kids. So we're moving. So I'm in the process of packing, folding clothes, sorting clothes, and I will rate that as a -0 right now. When it comes to organization and cleaning things, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's a -0. I hate it, and it's not my strong suit. So I'm doing this, and he come home one day, and he was like, hey baby, he give me a kiss. He goes and he takes a nap. He wakes up from the nap, he looks at his phone, and he gets up and he comes to me and he was like, I just can't do this no more. So I'm like, do what no more? I'm watching Jerry Springer or something. I don't know what I was watching, Maury or something. It's like late in the evening. So I'm watching something on TV, folding clothes and sorting clothes. And he's like, I can't do this no more. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Can't do what anymore? That's gonna have to be part 1.